Alright, so we are back, and I want us to quickly work on the API that allows us to create our own servers inside our Discord group, right? So let's not waste too much time. The first thing that we want to do is we want to go inside the initial model, and then we're going to do that by entering the components and then the models. Then we click on the initial model right here. We go into the on submit function that is right here. We clear that, and then we open up our try catch block just like that. We log out the error by doing this, then we log out the error just like that, and we should be good right there. Right, so now that we've been able to log out the error, we are going to have to install two packages. We're going to have to install npm, so we're going to say npm I axios and uuid, just like that. We already know that we have the axios to perform our API requests much more simple and fast, and then we have the uuid to specify or to generate different combination of letters and numbers. Alright, so now that we have all that in mind, we can now move on to import our axios from above right here. So we are just, while this is installing, we can simply just import the dummy axios. Then once it's done installing, we should be able to just use it automatically. So we have import axios just like that from axios, as simple as that, nice and clean. So now that we have this inside there, what we are going to do is inside this try block, we will just await axios dot post, right? Axios dot post, right? And inside this axios dot post, we would say API slash servers, just like that, and we are going to pass the values inside as inside the body, just like that. Alright, so now that we have that, we are just going to come right here, and I would say form dot reset, just like this. Form dot reset, then we initialize that, then we would come here, and then we need to use the router dot refresh, just like that. But since we have not been able to import the router, we have to do that right above here. So we'll go inside our initial model, we can come here and we'll say import router, and then we are getting it from what use router, and then we are going to have to import this from next slash navigation right there. So I'll just scroll up right here, and then I'll import from what, so I'll import what, use router. So import use router, then we import it from next slash navigation, just like this. Right, nice and clean. So now that we have the use router imported nice and clean, what we are going to do is it's just automatically going to run over here. Right, then we have what, window dot location, dot reload, just like that. Alright, so now that we have that inside here, we know that we are all set and ready to go. But here's the thing, we have just the API right here, but we've not been able to set up the API. And then if you look at this route, what we need to quickly do is we need to collapse this. So we need to collapse by clicking this, then we'll go into app, and then we go into the folder, the API folder. We create our server folder right here, our servers folder right here. I've already done that for you, just right here like this. Then inside we'll create what, we'll create route.ts, just like that. Alright, so inside the routes.ts, we are not going to do anything yet. We need to be able to get the current user profile. So in order for us to be able to do that, we'll go into the lib, and then we'll create a current, so current profile.ts file, just like that. Then once we're able to do that, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to write a function that exports. So we say export what, const current profile, just like that, async, current profile async, and we'll say that what, const, and you see user ID just like that, and inside any then would equate it to auth just like this. So inside this auth you are going to have to await it. Alright, so await. Alright, but we have to import this auth from our next.js package, right? So how do we do that? We're going to come right above here. I thought it would just automatically help us import, but I guess we have to import it manually. So auth, and we're going to get it from I think it came. Let me try so that we don't have to write all that stuff. Yeah, so nice and clean. So it's here now, nice and clean. So we have that. Then the next thing we want to do is we want to check, right? So we say if there's no user ID, right, what do we want to do? We want to return null, just like that, nice and clean. Yeah, but if there is, right, what we are going to do is we are going to open up, you are going to find this profile, right? So we'll say what, await db dot profile dot find unique, just like this. Open up the brackets, open up the object inside the bracket, and then we have what, where user ID, just like that. Alright, so right after I'll just clean this to ensure that the spelling is correct. Then yeah, let's make sure we return this profile as soon as we find it. So return profile just like that. Alright, but this db we have to be able to import it, so let's import it right here. So db we import it from, so we say at what, lib slash db, just like that, and we should be able to import the db nice and clean. If you like you can just do dot slash db, right? It's still the same thing because they are inside the same folder right here. All right, nice and clean. So yeah, now that we've been able to set this up, what we want to do is, right, what we want to quickly do is we want to go into our route.ts and write our route functions, right? So let's not waste too much time. Let's go into the route.ts that we created not long ago, which is inside the app API slash service slash route.ts right here, right? So now that we have that, let us quickly write our export function. So we want to export async, and we have function async function, which is what, a post request, just like that, and we are going to take in the request only, and we are going to set the type to be what, request, just like this, right? And then right after that we can just open this curly braces and can start writing our try catch block, just like this. All right, so right after we are done with that, what we do is inside the catch block, what we are going to do is we are going to log out. So I'll log, okay, the snippet isn't showing, so I guess you have to write it by hand. So I'll log, so I'll constantly log with the server creation error, right? So I'll say server creation error. All right, and so that it allows us to know that, oh yeah, this error is coming from the server creation route, right? So now that we have that, then we now come and do it, return a new error, but it's going to be a next response, right? So next response, and then inside we see what, internal server error, internal server error, right? And we see what, status 500, just like that. So inside here we can just import this next response, yeah, from next/server, just like that. Alright, so now that we have the next response imported nice and clean, what we are going to quickly do is you're going to now write the function that allows us to actually create our service. Right, so let's not waste too much time, let's just get to it. So I'll say const what we get the name and then the image URL from the body that we passed inside API call in the initial model. So equal to what await request.json, just like that. Initialize that one too. Alright, so now that we have these bad boys, what we're going to do is I'll just say const profile, and we would await the current profile, just like that. We have to import that. So you see the current profile that we tried to get, right, that we returned inside that function that we created inside the current profile.ts file right here, right? That's what we are importing. So now that we have that, we are just going to say if the profile, so if the profile right here, if there's no profile right here, what we are going to do is we're just going to return new next response, and inside we're going to set it to be unauthorized, and we set the status of that to be 401 status, oh yeah, to be 401, just like that. Alright, so now that we've been able to set this function up, what we are going to do is you now have to create our actual server. So you can say server, const server, or new server, basically either way, whichever one suits you. So you are with what the db, so we need to import this db as well. And how do we import that? We can import it by simply coming, okay, so yeah, we could have imported it directly from here. Okay, the computer is a little slow with the imports, I don't know why though, but hey, let's just import it by ourselves right here. We have db, and then we import it from where? We import it from what? At lib/db, yeah, at /lib/what db, just like that. Right, so now that we have the db right here, we can see what db.server right here dot what create. And how we're going to create it, we are going to create it by taking in this data, and first of all we set the profile id to be profile.id, just like that. Profile id, so profile.id, just like this. Then right after you see the name, it's still the same name, so image URL still the same. And invite code, we have to specify this invite code by using the URID that we had installed. So for that we'll just go above and import that. So say what v4 as UUID v4, right? So let me make it like this, right? Right, then from where? From UUID, nice and clean. So now that we have this inside the invite code, we can just specify right here that we use what's the UUID v4, just like that, and then we just initialize it nice and clean, just like this. All right, we initialize it nice and clean, just like that. And then the next thing we want to do is you can just come here inside the channels, and we can create right? So inside this channel, what are we trying to create? We are going to take the name and set the name to be what? General, just like that. And this is going to have the profile ID of the user creating it. So we say profile ID, and then we are going to set that to be what? Profile dot id, just like this. All right, so now that we have this, we can simply just do the same thing for the members right here, right? So I can just copy this and paste that right here, and then we change this to members, just like this, right? Members, just like this. Make sure that the spelling has been done right. All right, then inside this place, we just make a profile ID. So leave the profile ID inside, just like that, and we want to add a row right here. So for the row, we just say what? Yeah, so for the row, you can just set it to what? Member row. You remember the member row that we set up? So member row dot what? So you see, we just imported that, and dot admin, just like this. All right, so you can see, nice and clean, all nicely set up right here. Then right after this has been done, we can just return next response dot json, right? Server, just like that, nice and clean. So yeah, we need to make sure that the server right here has been set nicely. So server, just like that. All right, so now that we have been able to set this up nice and clean, we can now test out our API. All right, so before I do that, let me quickly refresh this page right here, because yeah, like I said yesterday, the video before this one, I already said that it looks like Next.js is really bad at hot reload. I don't know why though, but yeah, maybe it's just my computer, but that's just what it is. Yeah, so after refreshing, we should be able to test it out. All right, so this is it. So what I'll do is I'll select an image, all right, so I need to wait a little bit. Okay, looks like I have to wait a little bit. All right, so it's here. I'll just select a random image from here. All right, so let me just select, I don't want to select anything in a megabytes because I want it to be fast. So I'll just select one of these kilobytes. Okay, so this is the thumbnail for the previous video. So it's here. I just click on this empty box here. If you watched the previous episode or the previous part, you realize why we just clicked on that spot, right? Because that's what works for now. The styling just displaces our model, right? So right after giving it the server image, you see it appear right here. Right after giving it the server image, what we're going to quickly do is yeah, so I'm coming, 1 second. There was one thing that we forgot to make sure that we add, and that is the function for this image upload right here. So let me go into the image upload. So I'll say what? Upload. So file upload right here. So you see the file upload right here, right? We are supposed to be able to write this I'm supposed to be able to write this on change function that simply helps us manipulate the resetting of our image upload field, right? So we just apply the on change right here, and we just open this up, so just like this, and then we say what's on change, and then we set it to be an empty string, just like that, and we should be all good, right? And then we realized that the image 2 seemed like what it was, so what we can do is you can set it to what object cover, so object cover, so we can set it to object cover. Yeah. So now that we've been able to do all that stuff, let's just refresh just like that. All right. Okay, so yeah, looks like refreshing is going to take some time, so let me just pause the video, and once it's done we can just continue. All right, so I guess we can quickly refresh. If we have just refreshed it, so we can quickly test out our server creation API. So let me quickly click on that, and we wait a bit, select an image, and then we can continue. So let me just select one of these bad boys right here. Let me select this, and I'll click on this as usual, and then that should load up and bring it out. Alright, so yeah, after while it is while it is trying to upload, okay, it looks like we run into an error right here. Let me just refresh one more time and then try again. Okay, it's set to issues. Okay, but we are refreshing, so yeah, we should be able to refresh and then try one more time. Alright, so now that it is back, I'll just click on that, and it should give us some time. Okay, let's select one image. Okay, select one image from here. Okay, the computer is slow, apologies. I would scroll down a little bit and select one of these images. Alright, then I'll click on this for it to load and try to upload it to our upload thing. Alright, so it has been uploaded successfully. Then we can now enter our server name, so we would say something like Copland Technologies right here. Right, then I can click on create just like that, and once it's done it will just refresh, but we would get a full page. That is because we've not set up our server page yet, right? So just so we can be able to confirm, so it's still working, I guess. Yeah, it's still working, so yeah, just give it some time for it to work. Okay, for some reason I feel like I need to pause the video and check it out. Okay, so apparently we faced an error, and then it said that const profile dot find unique where, and it says what. So let us go and check what is going on right around this side. I'll go into okay, current profile right here. So db profile find unique. Let's make it user id just like that right here. I can also try to log out the user id to make sure that it is that one. So user id just like that should be this user id just like that. All right. Okay, so now that we have that, I would simply refresh, and then we'll try again after the refresh is complete. Alright, so we are here. It has been able to compile. Alright, so it's here, and I would want to now test it out. Click on that and scroll down right here, select one picture from here, and we click on this button. It should load up. We write our server name, technologies, just like that. Or if you do not like the autocomplete, you just write it here just like that, and I'll click on create, and we should make the alright, so we're able to get the user ID just like that. And okay, so the request should be successful. Alright, so as you can see, what happened was it just refreshed the page, and then now it is trying to redirect us because of the thing that we set up right here, right? So you see, we set up inside this page, our main page, that once we check for the initial profile, right? Once you get the initial profile, we need to check if this profile has a server, right? Now, if the profile has a server, we want to redirect it to the server, to the server's route slash server.id, so you can see that this is the id that we have here. Now, in case you want to see it inside the database, you can just run npx prisma studio like we always do, and it should run it on inside a certain port, and then we can visit the prisma studio from there, and then we can see that our server has been created right there. So I'm just going to pause the video, and then once we open the prisma studio, we can just continue from there. Alright, so it is done loading. It took quite a while to load, but it's here. So I'll just hold control and click on that, and then that should open up a new tab for Prisma Studio. If it's not opening up the tab, you can just copy that link right here, and you can just paste it inside your address bar, and it should work. Alright, so you can see that this is our Prisma Studio right here. It is loading up. Alright, this is loading up, so let's give it some time. Okay, getting things ready. Okay, so you can see that it is right here. Okay, alright, so you can see that we have profile right here, and we can check all the fields. Alright, and let me see, let me bring up, so you can see we have member, we have profile, we have server. So we have one channel, one member, one profile, and then what, one server, just like that. So if I open up the server, you should be able to see all the available servers that we created. You see, this is the ID, we have the name of the server, we have the image URL of the server, and then we have what, the invite code right here that we generated, and then we have the profile ID and all these other details right here, just like that. So yeah, that is basically it for setting up the API that allows us to create our own servers inside our Discord room. Thank you very much for getting to this part of the video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.